I've always been drawn to the outdoors, but the Appalachian Mountains have a pull that's hard to explain. Last fall, I decided to hike in Pisgah National Forest, North Carolina, chasing rumors of the Brown Mountain Lights. I'd read about them online, ghostly orbs that dance over the hills, seen for centuries. Some say they're Cherokee spirits, others natural gas. I'm not superstitious, but the mystery intrigued me. I packed my tent, flashlight, and a map, driving to a trailhead near Burke County. The plan was to camp overnight and watch for the lights. The forest was dense, the air heavy with pine and damp earth. I set up camp near Brown Mountain's ridge, where sightings were common. As dusk fell, the woods grew unnaturally quiet. No crickets, no owls, just silence. I sat by my fire, scanning the horizon. Around 10 p.m. they appeared, glowing orbs, flickering like distant lanterns, drifting silently over the peaks. I grabbed my phone to record, but the screen glitched, showing static. The orbs pulsed, almost rhythmic, drawing me closer. I hiked toward them, ignoring the warning to stick to the trail. The lights seemed to guide me, bobbing through trees. My flashlight dimmed, then died. In the dark, I heard whispers, soft, like women chanting. Cherokee legend mentioned grieving mothers searching for lost warriors, their torches lighting the night. My heart raced. I wasn't alone. Shadows moved in my peripheral vision, shapes holding flickering flames. I called out, but my voice echoed back, distorted. The orbs led to a clearing. My skin prickled as the air grew cold. Footprints circled the ground, bare, human, fresh. I bolted back to camp, but my tent was shredded, belongings scattered. The whispers grew louder. Stay with us. I ran, tripping over roots, until I reached my car at dawn. The lights vanished, but my phone held a single photo I didn't take. A woman's face, eyes hollow, staring through me. I never returned. Locals say the lights are harmless, but I know better. They're not just gas or reflections. They're calling you to join them. In 2019, I took a road trip through West Virginia, chasing small-town charm. I'd heard of Flatwoods, a sleepy village with a weird history tied to the Flatwoods Monster. A 1952 sighting described a 10-foot creature with glowing eyes after a UFO crash. I'm a skeptic, but I wanted to explore the area. I rented a cabin near Flatwoods Elementary School, where it all began, planning a weekend of hiking and local lore. The first night, I sat on the porch reading about the incident. 4 boys, a mom, and a guardsman saw something crash and met a creature in the woods. The air was crisp, stars bright. Around midnight, a red glow pulsed beyond the trees. Curious, I grabbed a flashlight and headed toward it, figuring it was a campfire. The forest was too quiet, my steps crunching loudly. The glow intensified, and a sickening odor hit me like burnt rubber and decay. I reached a hillside, the glow emanating from a ditch. My flashlight caught a figure, tall, with a spade-shaped head and orange eyes, hovering slightly. Its metallic dress shimmered, claws glinting. I froze as it hissed, gliding toward me. A misty haze surrounded it, stinging my eyes. I stumbled back, heart pounding, and ran. The thing didn't chase, but I heard it, mechanical whirs mixed with low moans. Back at the cabin, I locked every door. My flashlight was fried, bulb shattered. The next day, locals laughed off my story, saying it was just a barn owl or imagination. But I found claw marks on my car, deep and precise. I left Flatwoods, but dreams of those eyes haunt me. Something's out there, and it's not from this world. I'm a history buff, so when I heard about the moon-eyed people while visiting Cherokee, North Carolina, I was hooked. Cherokee legend describes small, bearded beings with pale skin and huge eyes, living in caves and building stone forts. They couldn't see in daylight, only at night. I found a local guide. His name was Tom. He offered to take me to a cave system rumored to house their ruins. We hiked at dawn, the forest foggy and still. Tom warned me to stay close. People got lost here. The cave entrance was hidden behind vines, barely wide enough to squeeze through. Inside, the air was cold, walls etched with strange symbols. My flashlight caught carvings, small figures with oversized eyes. Tom whispered, "They're still here," watching. We ventured deeper, finding a chamber with stone walls, clearly man-made. My flashlight flickered, and I heard shuffling, like bare feet on rock. Shadows danced, but Tom swore he saw nothing. Then, my light died, plunging us into darkness. Tiny hands grabbed my ankles, cold and clammy. I screamed, kicking free, and Tom pulled me toward the exit. In the dim glow of his phone, I saw them, small, pale figures with glowing blue eyes retreating into the dark. We stumbled out, but my backpack was gone, left behind. Tom refused to go back, muttering about curses. That night in my motel, scratches appeared on my arms like tiny claw marks. I never found the cave again, but I feel those eyes watching, waiting for me to return. Grandfather Mountain in North Carolina is breathtaking, but its trails hold secrets. I went hiking there last spring, drawn by stories of the phantom hiker, a bearded man in old clothes who appears to lost travelers. I'm an experienced hiker, so I planned a solo trek to the summit. The trail was rugged, fog rolling in as I climbed. By noon, clouds thickened, and I lost the path. Then, I saw him, a man in a flannel jacket, maybe 60, with a scruffy beard. He waved me over, pointing to a faint trail. "This way," he said, voice gravelly. Grateful, I followed. He moved fast, never looking back, leading me through dense mist. The air felt heavy, like it was pressing down. We reached a clearing, and he stopped. "You're safe now," he said, then walked into the fog. I called after him, but he was gone. That's the phantom hiker. Been guiding folks for decades. Never stays. That night, my tent zipper moved on its own. Footsteps circled outside, but no one was there. I found an old button in my bag, like from a 19th century coat. He's still out there guiding or luring. I'd heard of the Bell Witch growing up, how she haunted a Tennessee family in the 1800s, even tormenting Andrew Jackson. Last summer I visited Adams, Tennessee to explore the Bell Witch Cave, said to house her spirit. I booked a tour with a group, expecting a spooky but touristy experience. The cave was narrow, damp, and cold, lit by dim lanterns. Our guide, a local named Sarah, shared the tale. John Bell died from the witch's curse, and she lingered in the cave. As we descended, my camera battery drained instantly. Others complained of cold spots. Deep inside, Sarah pointed to a rock formation resembling a face. "That's her," she whispered. Sarah laughed nervously, saying it was wind, but the air was still. My flashlight caught movement, a shadow darting across the wall, shapeless but human-like. Someone screamed, and the group bolted for the exit. I tripped, falling hard. In the dark, a voice hissed in my ear, "Stay." I scrambled out, heart pounding. Outside, my photo showed a figure in the cave, a woman in old-fashioned clothes, smiling cruelly. Locals say the witch claims those who linger. I haven't slept well since. The Appalachian Trail is my escape from the grind of city life. Last June, I set out to conquer a section in Virginia, a rugged stretch near Shenandoah National Park. I'd heard whispers online about a place locals called the Screaming Woods, a dense patch of forest where hikers reported hearing cries at night. Most chalked it up to mountain lions or wind, but some swore it was something else, something older. I'm not one for ghost stories, but I packed my tent, a hunting knife, and enough supplies for 3 days, ready for whatever the trail threw at me. The first day was perfect, clear skies, birdsong, the works. I hiked 10 miles, my boots crunching on gravel paths, the forest alive with summer green. By evening, I found a clearing off the main trail, a spot with a small creek and flat ground for my tent. Around midnight, a scream shattered the silence, a piercing human-like wail that made my skin crawl. I bolted upright, grabbing my knife. It wasn't a mountain lion. It was too raw, too desperate, like a woman in agony. I unzipped my tent, peering into the darkness. My fire was still burning, but the flames flickered low, casting long shadows that danced across the trees. Another scream, closer now, came from the east. I called out, "Who's there?" "You okay?" My voice echoed, unanswered. The screams multiplied, coming from all directions. Overlapping in a chorus of anguish. I packed my gear in a frenzy, hands shaking. As I collapsed the tent, I noticed footprints in the dirt. Bare, human, circling my campsite. My compass, clipped to my pack, spun wildly, the needle jerking between north and nowhere. Branches snagged my clothes, roots seemed to rise underfoot, tripping me. I fell hard, my headlamp skittering into the brush. In the dark I heard footsteps, heavy, deliberate, circling. My knife felt useless in my hand. I scrambled up, using my phone's light to find the trail. The screams faded as dawn broke, pink light filtering through the canopy. Exhausted, I reached a ranger station by mid-morning. The ranger, a grizzled man with tired eyes, listened to my story. "You camped in the Screaming Woods," he said, not a question. He told me about a Revolutionary War skirmish in that area. Soldiers ambushed, their cries echoing ever since. "Some say the woods trapped their pain," he added. I showed him my tent, now covered in tiny handprints, like children had pawed at it. He didn't look surprised. I haven't hiked alone since. My sleeping bag still smells of smoke, and at night I hear those screams in my dreams, calling me back. The Appalachians hold secrets, and I wandered too close to one. I've been chasing paranormal stories since college, drawn to the thrill of the unknown. Last October, I set my sights on Dudleytown, Connecticut, a ghost town in the Appalachians dubbed the Village of the Damned. Abandoned since the 1800s, it's infamous for madness, disappearances, and a supposed curse tied to its founder's dark past. I found a route off the Appalachian Trail that led to its ruins, packing my camera, notebook, and camping gear for a weekend investigation. The hike was grueling, the forest dense with gnarled oaks and a fog that clung like damp cloth. By afternoon, I reached Dudleytown's remnants, crumbling stone foundations, a rusted well, and an eerie stillness that muffled even my footsteps. The air felt thick, like it was pressing against my chest. I snapped photos, the lens capturing faint orbs floating around the ruins. Probably dust, I thought, but my skin prickled. I set up camp near the old church foundation, planning to explore at dusk when paranormal activity peaks. As the sun sank, whispers started, soft, like leaves rustling, but forming words. "Leave, mime, you don't belong." I checked my recorder. It caught nothing but static. My fire crackled, but the flames leaned away from the ruins as if repelled. I laughed it off, blaming nerves, and started exploring, camera rolling. In the well's shadow, I found carvings, names, dates, some from the 1700s. My flashlight flickered, and footsteps echoed, heavy, deliberate, circling my camp. I spun around, beam sweeping the trees. Nothing. But my fire went out, embers cold in seconds. A cold hand brushed my neck, fingers like ice. I yelped, dropping my flashlight. The whispers grew louder. "Join us." I grabbed my gear and ran, the trail barely visible in the dark. Shadows moved in the trees, tall, gaunt figures that didn't walk but glided. My camera caught one, a burned face, eyeless, staring. I tripped, scraping my knees, but kept going until I hit the trailhead at dawn. My car wouldn't start, battery drained. A local farmer towed me out, warning, "Dudley's cursed. Stay away." He didn't blink when I showed him the photo. Back home, my footage was corrupted, except for that one image. Scratches appeared on my arms overnight, like burns. Dudleytown's curse isn't just a story, it's real, and it followed me home. Hiking the Appalachian Trail in Massachusetts is no joke. Rugged terrain, unpredictable weather. Last summer, a storm hit while I was near Great Barrington, soaking me through. I needed shelter, so I checked Craigslist on my phone, finding an ad, cheap motel rooms, cozy and quiet, $40/night. The place was just off the trail, a small motel called Pineview. I booked a room, figuring I'd dry off and crash. The motel looked like it hadn't been updated since the 70s, flickering neon sign, peeling paint, gravel lot. The clerk, an old man with a lazy eye, handed me a key to room 12. "Don't open the window," he muttered, not looking up from his newspaper. I nodded, too tired to question it, and headed to my room. It was musty, with faded wallpaper and a carpet stained with God knows what. I dropped my pack, showered, and collapsed onto the creaky bed. At 3 a.m., scratching woke me, like nails on glass. It came from the window, hidden behind heavy curtains. I parted them, heart in my throat. A face stared back, pale, eyeless, pressed against the glass, lips moving silently. I screamed, stumbling back. The face vanished, but the scratching continued, now from inside the walls. I checked the window. It was unlocked, though I hadn't touched it. I bolted it shut, pulse racing. Whispers started, "Let me in." "It's cold." I grabbed my knife, backing against the bed. The room grew freezing, my breath visible. The door rattled, like someone was testing the lock. I stayed awake, clutching my phone, too scared to move. At dawn, the noises stopped. I packed and ran to the front desk, demanding answers. The clerk smirked. "You saw her, huh?" "She likes room 12. I hitched a ride to town, where locals told me the motel was built over a 19th century graveyard, relocated poorly. Guests often saw a woman, thought to be a buried soul, seeking entry. My backpack had scratches on it, deep and precise, like claw marks. I haven't stayed in a motel since, and I check windows obsessively. Bald Mountain in North Carolina is a hiker's dream, but it's steeped in dark lore. Last July, I camped there, chasing stories of a cursed spring tied to witches from the 1700s. Locals said they were executed for dark rituals, their spirits haunting a hidden spring. I found it on a map, an unmarked pool deep in the forest. I packed my gear, eager for a creepy adventure. The trail was overgrown, thorns snagging my clothes. By noon, I reached a clearing with a small, bubbling spring, its water clear but strangely warm. The air felt thick, like breathing through a mask. I knelt to fill my bottle, ignoring warnings about drinking untested water. It tasted sweet, almost too perfect. I set up camp nearby, the forest eerily silent. No birds, no wind. That night, nightmares hit, gaunt women in black, circling me, chanting my name. I woke sweating, my tent zipper half open. Outside, glowing lights danced like fireflies but larger, leading deeper into the woods. I felt drawn, like they were calling me. Against my better judgment, I followed, my flashlight flickering. The lights led to another clearing, where the spring glowed faintly, reflecting faces in the water, women, eyeless, smiling. My compass spun uselessly. Shadows moved in the trees, whispering curses. I ran back to camp, my clothes tearing on branches that seemed to grab me. At dawn, I packed and fled, but my bottle still held that spring water. I poured it out, and it hissed on the ground. Locals later confirmed the spring was cursed, luring hikers to join the witches' coven. I still see those faces in my dreams, and mirrors sometimes reflect them. Section hiking the Appalachian Trail with friends is my annual ritual. In 2020, we tackled a stretch in Pennsylvania, camping in a remote valley. The first night was foggy, the air thick with mist. Around 2 a.m., laughter woke us, high-pitched, like children playing. Our campsite was miles from any town, so it made no sense. We unzipped our tents, peering into the dark. The laughter grew closer, circling us. Through the fog, figures emerged. 5 kids, maybe 10 years old, led by a tall man in old-fashioned clothes. Their faces were pale, eyes too large. "Where are you going?" a boy asked, giggling. "Hiking the trail," I said, uneasy. He smirked. "This ain't the trail." They vanished into the mist, their laughter echoing. All day we heard it, faint but persistent. My map app glitched, leading us in circles. At night, my tent zipper moved slowly, like someone was pulling it. I shone my flashlight. Tiny handprints marked the fabric. We packed and hiked out, the laughter following until we reached a road. A ranger said an orphanage burned nearby in the 1890s, trapping kids and a caretaker. My sleeping bag still has those handprints, and I hear giggles in quiet moments. Maryland's Appalachian Trail winds through Civil War history, with battlefields dotting the landscape. In 2021, I camped near South Mountain, site of a bloody 1862 clash. I'm a history nerd, so I was excited to explore. That night, campfires flickered in the distance, though I was alone. Cannon blasts echoed, faint but unmistakable. I thought it was a reenactment, but the woods were empty. Around midnight, figures appeared, soldiers in tattered Confederate uniforms, faces gaunt, eyes hollow. One pointed to a well, his mouth moving silently. I froze, my fire dying instantly. More figures emerged, dragging spectral chains. I ran, their screams, agonized, endless, chasing me. I tripped, my flashlight catching a soldier's face, half missing, staring. I reached the trailhead at dawn, shaking. Research showed the well was a mass grave, bodies dumped after the battle. My sleeping bag had muddy handprints smelling of gunpowder. Those soldiers are still fighting and they want recruits. I avoid that stretch of trail now. Northern Appalachia is rich with dark folklore, and in 2022, I visited a small Pennsylvania town near the trail to research Mother Tabitha for my blog. Locals called her a baby minder from the 1700s, rumored to steal children's souls for immortality. I booked a room at a B&B, an old house with creaky floors and photos of stern-faced families on the walls. The innkeeper, a quiet woman, warned me to avoid the attic. That night, a child's wail woke me, coming from above. I climbed the attic stairs, finding a dusty cradle rocking on its own. The crying stopped, replaced by a woman's lullaby. "Sleep, my sweet, you're mine." My door rattled, locked from the outside. I kicked it open, heart pounding, and ran to my car. The innkeeper later admitted the house was Tabitha's, and guests often heard her singing. My laptop played that lullaby unprompted weeks later. Photos from the B&B showed a shadow behind me, a woman's shape with glowing eyes. Tabitha is still hunting, and I feel her gaze. I don't stay in old houses anymore. Thank you for watching. I'd love to hear from where in the world are you listening from in the comment section. Please consider liking and subscribing. It helps my videos to find an audience. Ring that notification bell as I upload daily true horror content.